All right, welcome to this tutorial on vibe coding with GitHub. So this is an app called the Coherence Map. It's actually been around for quite a while. It's something that was really great when Common Core was first released. It kind of showed different relationships between standards, has some examples, etc. And what I'm going to show today is how we could reproduce this locally and be able to make our own coherence map essentially. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And I happened to get a couple years ago kind of spreadsheets that showed the relationships between these standards, like the original kind of mapping of relationships. But first, you have to have a GitHub account and you have to have Cursor downloaded. So first I'm going to go to GitHub. It's a way to track changes and safely go through and make changes and test things without wrecking your whole project. The biggest complaint that I hear about vibe coding with its Gemini or Cursor or Claude, whatever, is that you'll try to make one change and it messes up the whole thing. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to say add a local repository, and I'm going to go ahead and choose, actually I won't do add a local, I will say new repository, and I'm going to call this coherence map, and I'm going to put it inside just my GitHub folder. So there's that, and then what I'm going to do next is I already do have, I'd put those spreadsheets in this folder here, so I will take these, and now I'm going to drag them to that. So get rid of this. This is my Git repository, and you'll notice here on GitHub, as soon as I did that, it shows the files here. So what GitHub does is it tracks changes. It allows you to go through and say, like, for example, I'm going to say add core files. And you can see the files here. What it's showing is it's showing like the code saying this standard relates to that standard. It's kind of the mapping of what was used to create this user interface. So I'm going to go ahead and commit these changes. Okay. Now I'm going to open up Cursor. So Cursor is an AI coding tool, and I'm going to say open folder, and I'm going to open that GitHub repository, or that folder essentially. So coherence map, I click on it, I open, and now I'm going to say based on the files in this directory and the screenshot, build an app that can show relationships between standards. And so I'm going to kind of drag and drop that screenshot that I had. It's going to know, since I opened that folder, it knows what files are in there. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to start working. Now, this might take a couple minutes, so I will let it kind of start, and then I will pause the video and just show you the completion here. So it's preparing its next move. It's going to read those files. It's going to figure out the structure, and then it will actually create an app for us that we can run locally. Okay, so it's going to go through and read the standards on the CSV, and I will go ahead and pause this video until it's done. Okay, so it finished, and essentially at the end here, it's talking about how to run it. I'll give you like a little, so first you say keep all, and what you can do is if you don't want to open up your terminal, which can look a little bit scary, you can just say here, run the program. I'm just typing, run the program, show it in the browser. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to run the program for you. It's going to then open up a browser window here. And we have successfully replicated the program. So here's that same idea. It even shows like a sample task because it got that information from the files. Obviously there's some typos here and stuff like that. So what I can do is I'm going to say something like this again. So what the beauty of these AI tools does, what they can do is that you can just, whenever you see a problem, you just take it back to the tool and say fix it. So I'm going to go back to Cursor here, and I'm going to say fix these text anomalies, and it's going to go through and it's going to figure out what I'm talking about. And it's going to go through and remove all of that bad text, the QQ UAD. It's probably supposed to be like the square root symbol or something like that. And it's going to go through. So it's fixing it. And once it finishes fixing, I'll hit keep and I'll just go and refresh that browser tab. And it's gonna fix it automatically. Well, okay, there's also some display stuffs here. So it's not perfect on the first time, but again, the beauty of using these tools is that we can fix it right away. So let's see when that's done. Okay, that only took about 30 seconds. I'll keep the changes. I will now refresh. And it looks pretty good. Let's see if we see any other textual anomalies. Okay, I'm not really seeing much. Okay, so now I'll just copy and paste this. Okay, so the point is you go through here and you just, anything you don't like, you literally can take a screenshot of it and give it back to cursor and it'll go back and fix it. So if I click here, like I want to see all of my specific standards, for example. Okay, so that the drop-down stuff worked. Obviously the clicking is working and it looks like the coherence map is the exact same thing as what we saw. So if I go back to coherence map here, and then let's go back over here to 6.ns.b.3. So I'll go to 6 ns b.3. Okay, so it looks like the same data, which is how it's supposed to be. But again, you've now built it. And so what I want to do here briefly now is first I'm going to save this. And then what you can do is you can go through and say, make a new branch. And what I'm going to say here is blue. And I create that branch. And now what I can do, so we know that that main branch works. So now I've created this new branch. I'm calling it blue. I'll go back into cursor and I'm going to say, make all of the tiles blue instead of green. And it's going to do that. And it'll take a minute, but hopefully it shouldn't be that long because it's a pretty standardized kind of, user interface. And we go from there. So it's going to do this, just changing the blue tiles, or the green tiles with blue. It's going through. Again, it's a simple change. And I will hit keep when it finishes here. It's going through all the different stuff here. Okay, keep, and then I go over here, I hit refresh, and they are blue. But here's the cool part with GitHub. So here's where it changed everything, and I'm going to say blue. Okay, but then this is where there's two different branches. So there's this blue branch, but there's the original, the main. I switched back to main. Okay, that's me here switching back from, back on main. And again, I haven't changed any code, but watch what happens when I refresh. It's back to green. So this is how you kind of get your app to a place where it's working. Then when you go to build something new that might break things, you can make a new branch. You can make your changes. And if you like it, you keep going. And then if you don't, you just go back and fix it. And it'd be a different video where I talk about how to merge changes, that kind of stuff. But hopefully this will get you started. Actually, I might as well. Okay, so I'm going to publish this repo under Brandon. It's not an organization. So coherence map, publish. Again, this is on you've signed in on your GitHub account. I'm not going to show that step. But now what you would do is, so you have your main and you have your blue branch or whatever it is, right? And I'm going to say create pull request. Here and all you have to do for this purpose of this is like you have your changes and you've tested this now. You know that it's good and you want to make it work, back to that original branch because you know that it works. So you don't have to know the mechanics of this, but I'm just saying create pull request. I'm merging. And now your whole thing is going to be blue because you've gone through, you've kind of, again, think about a branch. You kind of took a chance and you said to see if it worked, and then now you've merged it with your main, and now your whole code, you got to test it, and now you know it works, and it's going to be blue. And that's all we have to do. So hopefully this helps you vibe code and have some fun building your own apps without messing things up needlessly all the time.